good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Amy Carr. I'm the Director of Recruiting here at WorldWide HealthStaff Solutions. I am joined today by the BAYADA team, and we are thrilled to have a new and very exciting partnership between WorldWide HealthStaff and BAYADA. I'd like to first introduce Joanna Horst. She's the Division Director for Clinical Innovation, Leadership, and Support for Home Health and Hospice at BAYADA. We are also joined by Matt Delcave, Division Director with the Skilled Nursing Unit at BAYADA, and Jesse Trudell, who's a Project Manager from Talent Acquisition, Strategy, and Innovation. And then a special guest, Rey Delos Reyes, who is a registered nurse at BAYADA in the Home Health Division. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to the BAYADA team. We're going to learn a lot about BAYADA and what an amazing company it is to work for. So take it away.
All right. Thank you very much, Amy. And again, I would like to say welcome to the webinar wherever you are in the world. We're so happy that you're here today, and we are so excited to share about the BAYADA opportunities that we have to offer with you. So again, our speakers today, we have Matt from our Skilled Nursing Unit. We have Joanna from our Home Health and Hospice Unit. We have Ray, who's a registered nurse from the Philippines, who actually works at BAYADA now in our Home Health Unit. And then myself, I'm Jesse Trudell. I'm a Project Manager with our Talent Acquisition team. So our agenda for the day, we're going to jump into what is home care, explain what BAYADA does in our main service line. We're going to give you a little bit of a background on our company and what we do. We'll jump into the qualifications for interviewing, as well as the roles that we have open. Ray will share his amazing story. We'll discuss locations that we're hiring for, what we provide as part of the package, and then we will go into our Q&A section. So what is home care? Home care is BAYADA's main service line. It is what we do 100%. It's critical care in the home. We want to emphasize that it's not just companion care. It is nursing care in its entirety. And we'd like to show you this What is Home Care video to learn a little bit more. CJ, we're ready for the video.
You know, when I was in nursing school, didn't really hear much about home care. The best thing is just to tell people.
Home care is nursing in its entirety.
The holistic care that you get to provide in home care was what I knew nursing to be.
In a hospital, you have 5 different people that you have to call to manage different things with your patient. In home care, I learn all that stuff.
The only things that I heard was that it was not very skill intensive, that your skill sets are going to get rusty. False. I've learned new skill sets. I get continuing education through BAYADA all the time.
I know how to work the ventilator. I didn't know until I did it. This is why you became a nurse. You became a nurse to treat the whole system, the patient, the family, the illness, the doctors. You touch every aspect. A nurse in home care is like the hub of a wheel, and you're in touch with every spoke of that wheel. And you have a chance in home care to make an enormous difference with the patient and the family and the other nurses. It's everything all wrapped up into one.
So from that video, we do want to emphasize that it is one-on-one critical care in the home. Our clinicians travel into to the homes of our clients to provide critical care. So it's a lot of autonomy. It is a lot of one-on-one care and opportunity to develop close relationships with your clients. So a little bit of background on BAYADA as a company. We were founded in 1975 by Mark BAYADA, this gentleman on the right in that top photo there. So BAYADA has become a trusted leader, providing a full range of clinical care and services in the home for both adults and children. We currently employ over 28,000 field clinicians, whether that's nurses, home health aides, therapists. In many cases, they work together on the same clients to provide them the most optimal care. We currently have over 360 offices in 23 states, and actually we have a global presence as well with locations in 7 countries around the world. One thing I want to emphasize is that in 2018, BAYADA transitioned from a for-profit company to a nonprofit organization, which really ensures the longevity of the company to make sure that we can continue providing care for clients for many years to come. In 2019, we served our 1 millionth client, so BAYADA really has been around for a while, has really touched the lives of many clients. And in 2020, we were voted Best Employer for Women by Forbes. So now I'd like to share with you something we call the BAYADA Way. It's what keeps us together, but what sets us apart from other home health organizations. It's comprised of our mission, our vision, our values, and really guides what we do in our everyday practice, what we do in our everyday care, and how our clinicians care for our clients on the day-to-day. So our values of compassion, excellence, and reliability guide us. And 89% of our employees say that they're proud to work for BAYADA. In addition to that, over 3,000 of our field clinicians have submitted an employee referral. So not only are they proud to work for BAYADA, but they want their friends, their family, their previous coworkers to come join them as well. So that 89% of our employees being proud to work for BAYADA is something that we're extremely proud of. So BAYADA is comprised of 7 different practices, and I like to describe the practices as different departments. Each practice, each different department provides a different type of care to different types of clients. So for this specific registered nurse opportunity through BAYADA, we are hiring nurses for our home health practice, so home health nurses, and then we're hiring nurses for our skilled nursing unit, and you might hear us call that SNU. So our skilled nursing unit is comprised of our pediatric patients and our adult nursing clients. So SNU comprises 2 practices. We're hiring RNs for the SNU practice and RNs for the home health practice. Some of the qualifications that we're looking for in registered nurses at BAYADA are a minimum of 2 years of critical care or acute nursing experience, whether that is in a hospital, in the ICU. We're really looking for nurses with strong interpersonal communication skills so they can work hands-on with our clients in that one-on-one setting in the home. To interview, nurses must have passed the NCLEX RN exam and also be willing to relocate to the US in 15 to 18 months. That 15 to 18 month period is our estimated timeline for after your visa petition is approved. And then when you arrive to the US, because this is one-on-one care in the client's home, you will be going out to see the clients in their home, and you will need to get a driver's license as well as a car in order to be able to do that. Now I'd like to introduce Matt to speak on our SNU nurse opportunity.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you about the skilled nursing unit and what that entails. So, first, that video that was presented, that gives a great snapshot. And I still get excited watching it, and I've seen it numerous times. So as we alluded to, the skilled nursing unit's made up of adult nursing and pediatric practices. So we provide one-on-one hourly private duty nursing care to those from infant age all the way up to the adult population. So, the care provided, it varies. It's the, full spectrum from medication administration all the way up to high complex care for tracheostomy and ventilator dependent clients. A typical shift would be 8 to 12 hours. And what we like to do in home care is build a consistent schedule for our nurses. That doesn't only benefit you, the nurse, but it also benefits the families and clients. The reason is in home care, what really separates home care from working in a hospital or a facility is you get to really build a close relationship with the clients and families. So that consistent schedule helps with that relationship building as well as continuity of care. As you see these different levels of care on here, I don't want anyone to get concerned if you haven't had that experience or limited experience with, let's say, tracheostomy care or ventilator care. It was referenced in the video a little bit, but we have industry-leading training. A number of our locations have in-house simulation labs where we're able to use scenario-based training. We have mid to high fidelity mannequins that are really lifelike, which is really awesome. And what that does is gives us the opportunity to really train our nurses for success so they feel confident and competent and independent before they're providing one-on-one care in the home. Prior to even stepping in the lab, there's self-directed learning trainings. We have clinical educators that are just top class in what they do and can really help and set you up for success. And we have field preceptors. So you get the opportunity to be with a seasoned nurse, right? And get a sense for, orientation to the client's care, how we do things in the home, the different treatments and everything, and really, build the confidence and understand those, the levels of care and treatment. So, and then, once all that's completed, we want to make sure you're confident and independent, and you're providing that care in the home by yourself. And when you say by yourself, you're in the home, don't worry. There's a whole team behind you supporting you. There's a clinical manager overseeing the care of the client, as well as the rest of the office team helping with scheduling, et cetera. So there's that support too. But again, it's a great opportunity to not only build your skills, but build relationships and really, be fulfilled with what you do every day. So that's just a quick snapshot of the skilled nursing unit. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you all.
Thanks so much, Matt. That was really helpful. Now I would like to introduce Joanna to speak about the home health nurse role.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Joanna Horst, and I am a registered nurse like you, and I have delivered care in the home, and it is so rewarding to be able to watch your clients heal, get well, and live a safe life in their home. You're going to hear much more about that from Ray, one of our very, very best. I'm so excited that you'll get to hear from Ray. In home health, a little different from what SNU does, we're engaged in providing intermittent skilled nursing care with therapeutic services in the patient's home. We create a plan of care under the director of the patient's provider, their physician, their nurse practitioner, or PA, to work towards achieving disease management goals, education, and safety goals. Many of our patients come to us after a hospital stay or after another catastrophic health event. And we are there to help guide them, help them with that healing, education, understanding how to live with this new disease process. All the while, we are documenting in a world-class electronic health record that enables us not only to document that visit, but allows us to communicate with our coworkers so that we're all on the same page as we plan that care. On our teams, we have registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, physical therapist assistants, occupational therapists, occupational therapy assistants, as well as speech language pathologists, registered dietitians, home health aides, and social work. So we really work to provide a holistic plan of care to meet the specific needs of that patient in their specific home. We normally see on a busy day between 5 and 6 patients per day, spending between 30 and 60 minutes per patient on the average. Sometimes we walk in and we really need to spend more time. Some of our patients, after we've been with them a while, they know us, we know them very well. It can go down to about 30 minutes. The clients that we see in their home who are homebound only require intermittent care, which is different from what you see in the SNU practice. And some examples of those clients that we're focusing on are clients that require wound care. We do a lot of wound care, which is amazing. We're able to see our clients heal and be more comfortable in their own home. We do a lot of work with heart patients that have congestive heart failure, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, diabetes, helping them understand how to manage that lifelong disease. Neuro rehab services for patients who have had neurological events or a catastrophic event that really does affect how they move, how they get up, how they can care for themselves. We're helping them live their best lives. We also do work around administering complex medications, often coupled with what's called in the US a HIT provider or a pharmacy service, who helps us be able to deliver IV medications right there in the safety of the home. So that requires central line training and the care of that line. It's such an exciting role because we meet people where they are. We really get to know them, and you'll hear that in Ray's story. It's very touching. Having been a home health nurse, I still drive by homes and I think, oh, I wonder how they're doing. Oh, I wonder if this is better. You really develop just such a great relationship. So I couldn't be more proud of the care that we deliver in home health, and I hope that you will consider joining our team.
Thank you, Joanna and Matt, for sharing about these very exciting opportunities with BAYADA. I'd like to officially introduce Ray. He is our BAYADA's 2021 RN National Hero of the Year. And that's an award given to one nurse a year who works at BAYADA, who exemplifies our values of compassion, excellence, and reliability, and really goes above and beyond in serving our clients. So CJ, if we could play the Ray video, please.
It was BAYADA who brought me here in the United States with my family in tow and only $300 in my pocket.
He's put his life work into working here at BAYADA and then being able to fulfill his dreams of becoming a U.S. citizen. He's looked at by so many with such a big heart.
Ray is your nurse that you want to come out and take care of you.
Ray is a genuine nurse. He shows his compassion through his work, because every time I go to follow up with a client that we co-treat together, they can't stop saying how excellent care they received from him and that they hope he comes back to see him again.
He is a guru at wound care. He has very complex clients.
So he takes that personal interest in his patients.
Ray is honestly one of the most reliable nurses I've ever met.
Ray is always there and always with a smile.
Ray comes in with a big hello, tells a clean joke or a clean story. Often he is the butt of that joke or story.
Ray is one of those really special nurses that I've seen patients remember a long time after he's gone. You see that he really builds those special bonds in a short time frame.
I was surprised to be named like Hero of the Year. I'm just saying to myself that I'm just doing the same thing, every time. My wife is so excited. She told my parents in the Philippines that I won the award. That's a really big deal for them. They were proud.
Direct or indirect reporting to me. And I can honestly say that Ray would be at the top of the list if I was still employed and he worked for me. BAYADA is very, very fortunate to have employees such as Ray.
Wow, thank you very much for all that you do, Ray. You have such a special story. We are so happy that you are with us here at BAYADA. I'd like to turn the floor over to you to share a little bit more about your experience, what you love about working at BAYADA, what does a typical day look like for you, and a little bit more about your transition coming over to the United States and working in home health for the first time.
First of all, thank you for having me. I've watched the videos several times. It always make me feel humbled. So I started working with BAYADA 2013, and they brought me here. And what I like about BAYADA is the support that the company gives to the employees. There is so much room for growth and opportunity to go up the ladder. You can actually you can start from case manager, you can go up to a clinical manager, and even to an office director if you want to. And with BAYADA, your work, is always recognized and your strengths are always highlighted, as we can see in their, yearly hero program. And a typical day of BAYADA, so I work here in the visits office. Usually my patients are from the hospital. I see around like 5 to 6 patients per day. That's the average. Of course, you can see more. And then the typical day is not routine at all, because you can always expect a new situation. It's not that it happens all the time, but you need to be ready for a new situation in the home setting. And that every day as you meet your clients' goals and needs, is always like very satisfying that they are happy and appreciative of what you do, and that it always makes your day. And Leo transferring from the Philippines to the US. US is always known as a land of opportunities. You can always achieve your dream if you work for it. And then it's not a surprise, that you can be with your family. You can bring your family here in the Philippines. As in my case, I was able to bring my wife and my 3 kids, and now we are US citizens. And with the home health, care that I'm working right now with BAYADA, there's so much flexibility and independence. What I mean with flexible is that you can schedule your own time. When I first got here, I have time to drop my kids to school, pick them up from school, because I make my own schedule. And then with regards to the work, is that you have more independence, because in the home setting, you are not only the eyes and ears, but you are the hands in the home setting. Of course, you coordinate with the doctors and the other disciplines like the therapist. But if you're alone in the home, you decide what to do. So it's more independent. You don't need to depend on others on what depend everything on others on what you need to do. And then what my advice to the aspiring nurses, that you really want to join BAYADA, because if you want excellent compensation, growth, flexibility, and that you want to be here with your loved ones, come to BAYADA and work with BAYADA. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ray. I really appreciate you sharing your story. On our next slide, we are going to discuss the locations that we are hiring RNs for. So Pennsylvania and New Jersey, we have multiple office locations in both of them, and we will be hiring for those 2 states for specific locations within those states. So one thing I would like to highlight about both Pennsylvania and New Jersey, they're on the East Coast of the United States, in close proximity to lots of large cities, New York City, and then we have Philadelphia and Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. We have Baltimore and Maryland, which is just right below Pennsylvania there. So they're in very close proximity to a lot of the bigger cities on the East Coast.
Jesse, did we want to pause quickly for a couple of questions?
You're right.
There are some really great questions that are coming in the chat. So thank you to everybody who's sending your questions in. I do just want to remind everybody, this opportunity with BAYADA is currently for US RNs. So that means that you would pass the NCLEX and have the equivalent to a bachelor's in nursing. So there were some questions about that in there. But specifically for the different practices, there are some questions about patient ratio and how many hours are typical to work in each of the practices.
I can take that for the skilled nursing unit. Typically, it's 1 nurse to 1 client ratio. And so that's the difference in home care, compared to the hospital or facility setting. There could be rare times where it might be 1 nurse to 2 clients. But again, I would say 95 to 98% of the time, it's one-on-one care in the home. So 1 nurse to 1 client. So the typical shift usually is an 8-hour shift in the skilled nursing unit with pediatrics and adult nursing. So, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, or 11 to 7. But it depends on the client's needs and care. So sometimes there could be opportunities where it's a 12-hour shift. But a majority of the time, the typical shift is an 8-hour shift, if that answers your question.
It does. Joanna?
Sure. And for home health, a busy day, you would be seeing 5 to 6 patients or clients a day, as well as documenting. We do provide a tablet, and we do encourage that the majority of documentation be done in the home. Some clinicians choose to finish that up when they're done their visits at the end of their day. But our work day is 8:30 to 5. And as Ray said, but if there's a child that needs to be dropped off at school and your first client is agreeable to start at 9, that's okay. Then you just work 9 to 5:30. So it does provide that flexibility. There are others that like to see their patients as early as possible. So they'll bundle their patients in the morning and greet their children for their bus and do their documentation in the afternoon. So that's what a general day is. There's some weekend, there's some holidays, but our general work day is 8:30 to 5.
And there was a couple of questions about how does this work compare? And specifically, I think it was, how does it compare to a hospital? How does it compare to a skilled nursing facility? And how does it compare to a post-acute care, like hospital or facility?
Great question. And I'll hop in because I do have to hop off. I apologize. So I'll hop in real quick. How does it compare to a hospital? Having worked in hospitals for many years as an old nurse, in the hospital, I would admit 4, 5, 6 patients. I would have them for a few days and then they would leave, and they never really were better. I felt like it was just this revolving door. In the home setting, we get to really spend time with them and see that wound heal, see that infection get better, see them learn how to live with that chronic disease. Some of our patients, when they come out of the hospital, are just as sick as they were in the hospital. So those visits are so crucially important to make sure that we've covered every system, every medication, that they're able to stay safe at home. But one of the exciting thrills is we often get to see them heal. As in Ray's video, you could see how that gentleman at that moment was doing so much better. So that's really the difference. Ray could probably weigh in better. And I thank you so much and hope that you consider BAYADA. And I apologize, I'll have to hop off for another obligation.
Thank you, Joanna.
I'm not sure if Matt, you want to weigh in on that question as well.
I wasn't sure if Ray was gonna comment after Joanna hopped off. Ray, did you want to add anything to what she said, or you'd like me to go?
Yes. So your typical day is 5 to 6 patients, and it takes 30 minutes to 1 hour per patient. Sometimes you spend more than that, and it's not really like 8:30 to 5, although your day is 8:30 to 5. But sometimes a lot of times you can finish your day before that. Because it depends. Sometimes it depends upon how far from one home to another, from one patient to another. because you have to like travel. But the office usually makes sure that you have your patients in one area. For example, in my case, I work in one zip code, so my patients are not too far from each other. So usually it's like 5 minutes to 10 minutes from patient to patient. And then once you go in there, you meet your client's needs, medications, teaching, wound care. Then you transfer to another patient, and after that, you finish like 5-6 patients per day. Of course, you can see more, and you are compensated accordingly. But what I mean is that it's always flexible. Sometimes if you have like an emergency with your family, you can call a patient and say that, can I come later? If the patient is agreeable, that's okay. But usually what we do is we schedule the patient the day before. We call the patients, say you talk to the patient, I'll be coming like 10 o'clock tomorrow. And usually we would give like a 1 hour time frame, like 10 to 11 tomorrow, because you don't know, you might spend a little more time with one patient. So the day before, you can look for, you can always schedule if you have one very important thing to do tomorrow. You can always schedule your patients accordingly. It's not really a burden with the time on your schedule. It's very flexible.
Thank you, Ray. And I'd just like to add for the skilled nursing unit, it's a little different where you're only really seeing one client each day. You have an hourly shift, so you're in the home setting for 8 hours, right? And a little different than the home health piece is a number of our clients, yes, some will progress and get better, but a lot of them need this level of care for the remainder of their life. So we have clients that have been on service with us for a number of years. And, going back to that relationship piece, like imagine you are the lead nurse caring for this client for 5, 10, 15 years because they need you to sustain their life, but also that dignity in being in the home where they belong. So that's where it's a little different than the visits and everything, where you might have 1 to 3 clients that you see throughout the week, but you have a full hourly schedule, 40 hours, let's say, where the clients will continue to need your nursing services, throughout their life. So that's just a little different.
Thank you. So I think, sort of in summary, it's really different than like a long-term care facility. It's also really different than home care in a lot of other countries around the world. There's a lot of it's high acuity, high skilled nursing, but on a one-to-one basis in a different way than it is in some of the other facilities, but not the same amount of patients or schedule that's in a hospital setting. Is that fair to say? Okay, awesome. So Jesse, let me turn it back over to you to continue the presentation, and then we will have more time for questions at the end.
Okay, thank you so much, Amy, and thank you for your answers there. So as I was saying, we are hiring for in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Pennsylvania and New Jersey on the East Coast of the U.S. and in close proximity to a lot of large cities, New York City, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Baltimore. So for Pennsylvania specifically, they have a population of 13 million people. One thing that's unique about Pennsylvania is that there's both the city life, so you have larger cities like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, but you also have rural, smaller towns with rolling hills and a lot of opportunity to explore the outdoors. So depending on your preference, we have opportunities in both types of settings, but Pennsylvania is a beautiful state, lots of great options for activities, and a great place to live. And then life in New Jersey, the population is 9 million. As I mentioned on the previous map slide, New Jersey is in very close proximity to New York City. It's drivable from a lot of areas of New Jersey. And then something that's unique about New Jersey is the city element, but they also have 130 miles of ocean coastline, so you can get the best of both worlds there, between the urban setting as well as the opportunity to spend a day at the beach. So with that, I'm going to jump into what we provide as part of this opportunity with BAYADA. So included in the package is expedited immigration processing, and attorney fees are covered. This is a full-time, full benefit opportunity. Your immediate family members can also be included on your visa petition. The sponsorship that's included for you is a green card, also known as an immigrant visa, as well as airfare to the U.S. for you should you visit BAYADA. However, if your family will be joining you, that is a separate fee that BAYADA does not cover. We also offer assistance and planning for relocation. Reimbursements are supported there before you can come on the journey over to the state. Once you arrive in the States, we assist with documentation such as getting a social security number, life insurance and support. And then once you start at BAYADA, you will experience BAYADA onboarding as well as training and clinical support. So what we mean by that is that even though it's one-on-one care and you practice autonomously, it's always that clinical support in an office to back you up. They're always there. And you're not alone. On that same note, placement in communities for our global nurses will be to try to keep global nurses together so that we can create smoothly. So again, you are never truly alone. And then opportunities for career growth. Ray and Matt touched on this previously, but many of our nurses, after working in the role for a couple of years, promote to leadership roles. So the clinical manager role is a nurse leadership role, and then office director is the head leader of our field offices where all the positions are out of. So we really have an amazing package to offer here. A really great place to work, as evidenced by Ray's experience, evidenced by 89% of our employees being proud to work with BAYADA. And we are really excited that you're potentially interested in us. So with that, we'd like to open it up to Q&A in the chat.
All right. There's, again, tons of great questions. We don't have time to take every single question that has come in, but if you have a question that is just specific to WorldWide, is not BAYADA specific, we may not answer those today, but please reach out to us at WorldWide. We would absolutely love to help. You can see on the screen there are live recruiters available right now, so feel free to reach out to chat your questions to a live recruiter. And then there's also our recruiting at healthstaff.org email. You can email your questions there as well. So a couple of things just to recap that I've seen come through as questions. This opportunity is for RNs that have passed the NCLEX only. So this is not for like med lab techs or nurse aides or someone who has not yet taken the NCLEX. This is for NCLEX passers. This is for a 36-month contract. It's direct hire, though, so every single person would be an employee of BAYADA and would be able to stay as a permanent employee past the 36 months. And then locations are the ones that Jesse talked about. First, we're going to start with our partnership with BAYADA in the New Jersey and Pennsylvania area. So those are just some basic facts about this. Jesse, there have been a couple of questions about salary. How is salary calculated? Some folks are asking for the specific rate. Can you help us with that?
Sure. So the salary depends on the location, but what I can tell you is that you will be making something called prevailing wage, which is the minimum that it is about. It's what we are offering our nurses. So you will be making the same amount, the full salary of what we're offering our nurses. And we are not offering a lower wage. It is the same as BAYADA nurses that are in the U.S.
That's awesome. And then there's a couple of questions about orientation and training. Like, how long is it? What is that like?
Matt, do you want to take this one? I know.
Yeah, I could definitely, take it. So for skilled nursing, we're really, we like to call ourselves nurse centric, right? So we're going to meet the nurse where, their experience and skill level is, and build out an education plan for them. I can't put a time frame on it, but what I will say is there's some requirements that would need to be completed before actual orientation, which is physically done in the office and the lab. And then just depending on the comfort level, skill level that they're working to accomplish, the precepting time will vary. There's no set hour requirement. It's whenever that nurse is comfortable and independent and signed off on those particular skills to take care of the client that they would be caring for. So it's not a 3-month long process or anything like that, but it's it could be a week, it could be 3 days, just depending on the nurse before they're actually actively working independently in the home. But the actual orientation is usually one day in the office with the lab portion, and then you're out in the field precepting, if that helps.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I've seen a couple of questions come through about experience. This opportunity is for nurses that are currently working in bedside, to currently be working in bedside. Best fit is somebody who's currently working in some sort of critical care, definitely acute care. And then the exact rate per hour is only available like once it's based on experience and location. And so that would be available once somebody receives an offer. We'd be able to give you the exact rate of pay. There was also a question about is this different than travel nursing? Because you're going from patient to patient. Maybe could somebody talk about what the difference in working at BAYADA is from working as a travel nurse?
I could take that. So travel nursing, again, I guess you have a set time frame where the contract is that you're going to be going to a city, in the United States for a set period of time, and then you're going to move on to the next opportunity. Where this is consistent, you're going to be working with your client base for that 36-month period and beyond. And so, we want to be your full-time employer and not just contracted to go around the globe for a set period of time, where, you're going to build the relationships, you're going to have ongoing consistent scheduling, you're going to be ingrained in the community that you're living in. You have that, again, it's the consistency that really is the difference. So hopefully that helps with that question.
I was just talking away. I said, this is a really fun question. How do you approach rude clients? What happens if you have clients that aren't super easy to work with?
Ray, do you want to share how you handle that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you're in the home setting, you encounter all kinds of homes, all kinds of personalities in their home setting. Usually they are more comfortable in their homes than in the hospital. There are some patients who are rude, but remember, they are patients. They are, they have some ailments, and you are there to help them and make sure that they understand that you are there to help them and make their life easier. Your goal there is for them to be independent and safe in the home setting. So it's like a personal thing on how to deal with these kinds of clients. But as a nurse, we always know how to deal with them. by understanding that they are patients and they are people who are, feeling some difficulties in their life. There are also a lot of patients are also very nice, and most of them are nice. They are there, portable in their homes, and they are really appreciative. They really appreciate of you coming there, and they are always happy to see you. That is mostly in my experience.
And just to piggyback off of what Ray referenced, that level of empathy, understanding that they're going through a tough time. So if they're being rude, is it really at you or is it at the situation, right? But on top of that, handling it real time in the home, you have your office team supporting you, so you can give a call to the office and talk through the situation, and we might have some recommendations on how we could better support you and work through that, as well as address the client or family member ourselves to better support you in that situation. So that's just an additional measure we would take.
Awesome. One question that just came through is about safety. Like, are there any safety concerns as nurses go to different homes? How is that, addressed before nurses start working with a client?
Can I say something with that?
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah. Before you start going into the patient's house, you undergo like a training and orientation on how to be safe, even with driving, where to park your car, how to deal with these kinds of situations. So it's all covered before you even start going into the patient's home by yourself.
Yeah, and just regarding the patient's home and safety too. So, we have a very detailed admission process from the very beginning, where not only does it involve the actual care and orders from the physician being provided for the client and understanding all of that, but it's also an environmental assessment, ensuring that the client has everything they need to provide safe and continuous care in the home, as well as anything for any emergencies too. So that is all taken care of, prior to even starting care for any of our clients. So you get the training yourself, and then also to know that everything is in the home that's needed to ensure safe care.
Okay, great. There have been a couple of questions about, I think, working for BAYADA in general. So about things like we talked a little bit about career development, but what specifically are opportunities for like career pathing forward? And then there's some benefit questions, like what great benefits does BAYADA as an organization have? Health insurance, life insurance, gas allowances, any of those things?
So I could give an example of a career path. So, a number of our clinical managers in my particular division, they started out as field nurses and did really well and wanted to continue to grow professionally, and got the opportunity to become a clinical manager, which is a leadership role within BAYADA, and you get to actually oversee the care of a number of clients and are supervising the field staff that you once were. And then from there, I know a number of clinical managers that actually became directors. And I know one that actually became a division director, my level too. So there is opportunity for growth, and we promote from within. We really want to see all of our employees grow professionally within BAYADA. And as an organization, we continue to grow. So more and more opportunities become available. So that's just a little, example of the progression. And then benefits, we have, paid time off, we have health benefits, so all of those things that you would ask for, we do have available. And I think as we get closer and have those, offers being made, we can show you details of exactly what we can and present to you regarding benefits.
That's awesome. Thank you. So we are almost out of time, and I really appreciate everyone who has attended in the BAYADA team. I think maybe before we close out, it would be really great to hear from each of the BAYADA folks. I think maybe one last final thought. What would you like to leave with all of the international nurses, or what's your favorite thing about working for BAYADA?
I can start. So I don't have a clinical background. I don't work in the field directly with our nurses, but I will say I've had the chance to interact with a lot of our office directors, our nurses through email, over the phone, talk to them about their experiences, and they truly are really happy and really proud to work for BAYADA. I am as well. I would say my favorite benefit, other than all like health insurance and that sort of thing, is just the people. I think everyone's really supportive in your development path, in your growth, and truly wants the best for you in your career.
Well said. For me too, I think it comes down to being fulfilled in a career. And I've been in home care for 14 plus years. I've been with BAYADA 9 years. So what you'll also get to know is there's a lot of tenure in the organization, and that's not by mistake. It's because of our culture and everything at the heart of what we do. So I'm super happy that I can actually help people and make a huge impact in the communities that we serve, and clients' lives and families' lives. And I get to do that for a job, so it's pretty cool. I love working here, and it comes down to the people and everything that we're about. So I can't wait to have all of you come on board at BAYADA and want to work here and take care of clients and have that same impact and feeling of fulfillment and build great relationships. And again, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today.
Thanks, Matt.
Ray, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, with BAYADA, there is so much room for growth. For example, even if you're in the field nurse, if you like wound care, you can actually be a wound specialist. BAYADA offers education that you can be a wound specialist or a trach and vent specialist or an IV nurse. BAYADA offers all that if you want to specialize on a field.
Thank you so much. So if you have additional questions either about BAYADA or about WorldWide, please feel free to either chat right now with one of our live recruiters, or please apply. We'd love to help you to be able to interview with BAYADA. We have the interviews coming up very soon. It's always great to go on this journey with a friend or colleague. So if you or someone that you work with might be interested, please let us know, and we'd be happy to help you. Thank you again, and I hope everybody has a good rest of their day or evening. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.